The day has come. Disney has decided to alter a show in order to make it less woke, instead of their usual sneaky way of sprinkling in progressive programming.
Oh, I got engaged.
Oh, wow. That's great. What's her name?
Kiko. She's one of the science crew.
In a win for normalcy, Disney is cutting a character's transgender identity entirely from the script of a show meant for kids. Instead of being a teenage transgender girl, the character will now be a girl on a co-ed middle school softball team. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, Disney released in a statement, "We recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline." Did they really need this dramatic PSA? Movie companies tweak scripts all the time and nobody needs to know about it. The series, called Win or Lose, centers on a softball team in the lead up to a big game. Each episode of the show focuses on a different character's perspective.
Pickles, huddle up. You all did great today, but there is one person who did the same level as all of you, just fantastic, but better.
As National Review's Abigail Anthony said, leaked draft material from the Win or Lose series suggests that there were plans for a scene where the character struggles to decide which single-sex bathroom to enter. The character enters the women's restroom, then experiences distress when looking in the mirror and seeing a distorted masculine reflection. Disney claims that just a few lines of dialogue were cut near the end of the season to make the show suitable for all ages. Chanel Stewart, a transgender girl, otherwise known as a boy, who voices the character, was disheartened at the news. Chanel auditioned for the role because Pixar had advertised on X that it sought a 14-year-old, authentic transgender girl to voice a character in a new animated series. Chanel said, "I was exactly what they wanted to a T." No pun intended? Except for the few lines that are cut, which is standard for television actors to face, the character will still be in the show, and Stewart will still be able to do the voiceover for the character. "It's just that my character would now be a cis girl, a straight cis girl," Stewart explained. Disney's statement is exactly the same argument that conservatives in Florida used when passing the Don't Say Gay bill, which was dubiously named. It's literally just the parental rights and education law back in 2022. Championed by Governor Ron DeSantis, the bill was framed around the fundamental rights of parents to make decisions about the upbringing and care of their own children. Of course, the legacy media and queer media outlets called it vile and dangerous. Just a few years back, Disney wanted an authentic trans voice actor for this trans role. Listen to what Carrie Burke, president of Disney's General Entertainment Content, said just back in 2022.
One of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads.
For the record, both of Burke's children identify as LGBT. What are the odds? So what happened between then and now, though? Disney, like many other companies that were going woke, saw the writing on the wall. The trans craze among America's youth is a social contagion, and it's turning out to be one of the worst medical scandals of our lifetime. And by the way, the US is really late to the party on mitigating on gender transitioning for kids. Some major countries in Europe have already smartened up. Just last week, the UK banned the use of puberty blockers indefinitely for kids. Experts flagged an unacceptable safety risk for these drugs and their use as treatment for gender dysphoria. Maybe it's because we still don't have scientific evidence on the long-term side effects of these hormone injections, but we do have detransitioners coming out of the woodwork in their 20s saying that they regret their decisions to transition as kids and that they're now experiencing side effects like menopause, which normally happens to elderly people, brittle backs. We have young adults who are now sterile or struggling with sterility, that are losing their hair because of testosterone, whose healthy breasts were removed and still have complications from surgery. The list goes on. But back on this side of the pond, America's best hospitals still tout that puberty blockers have benefits, and that gender-affirming care, which is a euphemism, is charitable and humanitarian. I think we're going to look back at the youth trans mania the way we look back on lobotomies, so it's smart that Disney is wising up now. Disney has also seen enough negative reactions sparked by their past woke moves. Remember Gina Carano? She was fired by Disney in 2021 from her role in The Mandalorian. She claims it was due to a series of right-wing social media posts, including fake pronouns in her bio, which the media has called anti-trans rhetoric. Carano sued Disney, and in addition to damages of $75 million, she seeks a court order that she will be recast in the show The Mandalorian. And turns out she's winning the fight. I bet you've never heard of Disney's latest box office flop, Elemental, because it was Pixar's worst performing release in history. Just to give you a sense of where they went wrong, the movie featured Lake Ripple, an earring-clad, non-binary water element character who is prone to tears and goes by they/them pronouns.
It's my little sub Blake.
What's up?
They're students at Element City School for the Arts.
Yeah, following in mom's wake.
Speaking of movie actors and producers diving into woke when they shouldn't be, check out this video we did on Wicked and how their stars went on this very cringe press tour, basically ruining the movie for tons of conservative viewers.